CD can't hear me? That's crazy. Oh my god, Rav, hello. Hello, Fred. What's up? It's been 84 years. CD, did you get caught up on the VOD? Probably not. The way I know CD can't even hear me, but I'm yelling anyway. But how are you, Rav? Oh god. I feel like not alive today. But I'm here, so. Marlon! Hello. I'm not gonna lie. I got so used to, like, the other... Like, I feel like the other, screen, like, the OG one is pretty iconic, but this one has the sauce. I'm here for it. Not gonna lie. It's pretty good. I feel... Oh, I don't even know. Oh my god. Well, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot has happened. Considering the last I knew, you only had a cat. But no, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, man. I straight up didn't want to do anything today. I'm not gonna lie. I was this close to canceling stream, and then I was like, no, I should just go. Because once I get locked in, it'll be fine. I don't want to do anything today, TBH. I think that's just the kind of day it is. I was good this morning, and then Molly was like... She just, like, hopped up on the couch after I finished working out, and then got really snuggly, and I was like... Are you okay? Because she doesn't snuggle. And that should have been my first indication that something weird was gonna happen. But, yeah, she was really cuddly, so I didn't go anywhere. And I think it just made me feel really lazy after that. But then again, the weather's not... It's, like, cold again today? Which, to be fair, after yesterday, I'm good with that. But it's kind of, like, dreary out. So... I'm a little sleepy. My brain is not, super alive. I was very tempted to just kinda have a nap, actually, but it's okay. I'm here, I'm persevering. You need to get some sunshine. Yeah, I have been getting some sunshine the past couple days. Like, I know last year I had a really bad year. And kinda like during that, I was kinda trying to like pick myself up, I guess, in any way. And you know, everyone's always like, go outside and stuff. And I was just kind of like, I'll go outside, I guess. So I started, like, making time to just go out and sit in the sun for a bit. And, like, listen to a podcast or something. Since I'm not really the outdoorsy person. I'll get out for walks, with my pup. When it's nice, but it's hard to like fit that in sometimes, so when I have time I try to at least get myself out a bit. Dogs are onto something with those, but dang, you sell cars. That's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I feel that on the mixed feelings about getting sun though, because we just straight up have not been getting anything here. So I think the last 2 days have been like the first days that I've actually like been able to go out and chill in the sun, because it's, I don't know, our weather's been messed up. It's only just barely gotten warm. Also, hello CD, I'm glad you have ears. I knew you didn't, but I yelled anyway. Did you get caught up in the VOD? I'm ready for disappointment. Gonna go get some sun and some coffee. It's 1 PM, you gotta start your day. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you stopping in. And I'm glad that everything is going well with you. That's good to hear. You'll be back in a bit. Sounds good. I'll trade you my areas. Had nothing but sun this past week during the heat wave. That's what I was just saying, CD. Like, we finally got hit with the heat wave, but today is like really dreary. You didn't I'm gonna have to like tape your eyes open and stick you in front. That's crazy. This man terrible at VOD watching. That's wild. I can't believe you've done this. Man. Am I gonna have to pester you tomorrow? If I'm alive and if I make it to Repo tomorrow and you haven't watched the VOD, I swear, there will be consequences. Oh my god. Anyway, we should see what's going on here, because I should use up the tiny bit of my energy and play some of the video game while CD is actually paying attention. I'm being a shit, I'm sorry. But I hope everyone else's day is going well. I'm just EP. I'm just EP, but I'll be fine. Alright, we are with Maho. I have no idea what's gonna go on with that, but we'll see. Maho Hiajo is fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she still didn't want to admit it.
Maho, 準備はできたかい?
はい。
You're catching all the strays this weekend? Yeah? As you should! Baby, what are you doing? You gonna get in your bed? I feel bad because I tried to play with her before I came upstairs, and she didn't want to. She just wanted, like, more pets, and that I was like, oh, I'm sorry. She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Leshkinen spoke to her. Need that man to say his name again, but I guess we're gonna go with that for now. Where's Angel to be the scapegoat again? That's crazy. Oh, man. Angel will appear whenever the time is right. And then you'll regret it. You'll be like, oh, no. Bro will be back to cause problems on purpose.
少しはおめかし
As
す
God
るか
intended.
と思ったんだが、魔法はマイペースだね。
This guy still just... He still just looks ancient to me. Like... Like, he's giving German, but Amish? I don't know. It's something with, like, the whole coat situation. It's the color of his outfit, I think. I don't know. Every time I see him, it just... He looks like he's in the wrong place in the wrong time period. I'm sorry to this man. Yeah, it's... like, I think he took off his, like, overcoat, and it looked more fine and, like, normal, like, when he was giving the presentation. But something about them all together is just giving, like, I'm on a farm, you know? Looking as pale as a sickly child, true! He needs the sun more than I do. And that's saying something. Dr. Leshkinin stared at her for a moment and then spoke. It was obvious he was referring to her outfit. That's crazy when I'm referring to his!
この前みたいにパーティーに出席するわけじゃないんですから。
That's funny.
あの時だって白衣のままだったじゃないか。
I would be that pale if my skin wasn't heavily tinted pink. I low-key feel that. My cheeks get pink really easily. And then, like, I know I've talked about it before, but, like, if I get warm, my face overheats, and then, like, it stays pink. Really annoying. I don't know. The rest of me is... I'm starting to tan a little bit. My legs are really white. I want to get them a little tan. Okay, Alexa, I didn't ask. Yeah, I think I have some rosacea. Oh my god. Jump scare. I just don't want to scare people when I'm in shorts, but, you know, that's fine. I'll get scared in my own home, I guess.
あれは服を忘れたんです。
Why does she do that every time I stream? Never any other time. It's only when I stream. I hate that for me. The worst part is I forget there's one in my room because I only use the downstairs one. Oh, Christ.
そうだったね。
It's probably payback for freaking shit-talking this man's outfit. It's what I get. Dr. Leshkinin was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he had actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese.
さて、クリスとリンタロウはどういう関係を築いているかな？会うのが楽しみだよ。
He's doing his best. He's doing better than me. Maho and Dr. Leshkinin were about to head into Tokyo proper. There, they were to meet Rintaro Okabe. It had been 2 weeks since they'd first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe. No, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu at any time she wanted, but since she'd asked Okabe to be a tester, she tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. She didn't want her conversations to add any extra noise. Interesting.
教授、出発する前に一つ聞いても。
So she really wants to see how he's going to affect her, I guess. So I think originally they said they had a few other testers, but it was mostly these two, and now Okabe. Interesting.
仮にリンタロウがエムデウスを撃ったとしよう。それでどうなるかな？アクセス権を手に入れた何者かはクリスと仲良くなってエムデウスそのものを乗っ取ったりできるかな？
それは
Maho asked herself the question and then realized the chance was almost zero.
ありえません。
Getting a Japanese person to speak Japanese with a foreign accent is honestly so funny to me.
そうありえない。
Bro, they were cooking.
なぜならそんな事態になればクリスの方が対話を拒否するだろうからね。エムデウスはそういう意味でとても面倒くさいシステムだよ。なかなかこちらの思い通りには動いてくれない。もちろんエムデウスが説得される可能性もあるだろうけれど、そのために私はモデルとなる人格にクリスと魔法を選んだとも言えるわけでね。
Dr. Leskinen gave her a mischievous wink. I wonder why they used the Kurisu model more. I assume it's because she's dead. But that's really sad.
私もクリスも気難しいですからね。そうやすやすと説得はされないでしょう。
Or I guess also that. Maybe a mixture. But we haven't seen the Maho model since the introduction. She knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
いかにも君たちは本当に容赦ない。これぞ最強のセキュリティだよ。
けなされているように聞こえるんですが。
君たちは我が研究室が誇る最強のレディーさ。
He's just a silly little guy. I do like him. Dr. Leskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him.
いずれにせよ、エムデウスの AI は一筋縄ではいかないわけでね。だからこそ面白いとも言える。そんな彼女たちを身内だけで独占していても進歩はないだろう。エムデウスが劇的な進化を遂げるための起爆剤のようなものがちょうど欲しいと考えていたところなんだ。しかもなるべく研究とは無関係な人物に預けてかった。ウィンターローは聡明だし適任だと思ったんだ。クリスの友人でもあったわけだし。
Hello. Squeak has woken up and has joined the party. He has many things to say.
とりあえず今日の報告次第で判断してもいいんじゃないか？クリスがリンターロと過ごしてどう変化したのかを見極めてからだね。私たちが見たことのないような意外な一面を覗かせてくれるかもしれないよ。
はい。
That was what was making her nervous. If Kurisu changed into someone she didn't know, that would make her sad.
そろそろ時間だ。出よう。
Maho nodded. Yo, we're back as our boy. Seeing Lukaku. Or just being depressed, I don't know. Could be both. I walked under the grounds of Yanabayashi's shrine and quietly took a look around. Several cats were sunbathing beneath the cold winter sky. There was no sign of anyone else. Hey, that's you! You like sunbathing? Yeah, good job. You're in the game. Lukaku wasn't back from school yet. Okay. I could talk to Kurisu without anyone staring at me here. I was supposed to meet with Dr. Leskinen and Maho after this. Before that happened, I wanted to confirm something with Kurisu. I decided to start the app. Whenever I talked to Kurisu, I needed to pay attention to where I was. Why did it quick save there? Worrying. People would stare if I did it in a crowded place. Should I save? I'm scared. You've convinced me. I forgot that was my home screen. So does that mean that I can just not call her? I mean, I don't know why I would not do that, but... And I couldn't do it around my family or anyone I knew. In that sense, with the exception of the fact that Lukaku and Mayuri might show up, Yanabayashi Shrine wasn't a bad spot. Okay, it pulls it up. Okay.
Hello.
I got scared. Although maybe that's in a different route or something. I assume there are routes. The fear that went through me, though, when I saw that quick save.
話がある。
Why would you start a conversation with that?
今日はこの後教授や先輩に会う予定なのよね。その件について。
ああ。
緊張する必要はないんじゃない？基本的にはログを提出して、あとはあんたから見た私がどんな印象だったのか軽く聞かれるぐらいだと思う。
それだ。ログだよ。それを聞きたかった。もしかしてこれまでの会話は全部記録されてるのか？
Oh, interesting.
最初に話したでしょ？私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っているって聞いてなかった？
それを今回教授とヒアジョーさんに提出するのか？
多分そう。
ということはプライベートのことをお前に喋ろうものならヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授に筒抜けっていうことか？
あんたね、今さら？
Yeah, it was a little late. Kurisu and I had been talking for 2 weeks. I should have asked about this when I got the access key for Amadeus.
今日になって気づいたんだ。
Are you kidding? Oh my god! Oh, he's depressed and stupid. Oh no.
なあ、俺、
Oh
これ
god.
までに何かまずいことを話さなかったか？
Hmm.
例えば合コンでろくに女の子と話せなかったこととか、
Oh dear.
実家が八百屋さんなのにナスが嫌いなこととか。
I don't think that's a crime.
ナスは嫌いなんじゃない。苦手なだけだ。
What does that mean? What? Wait. If that was all, I didn't really care.
あんたが最初に私と話した時にクリスティーナって呼んだこととか。
Yeah, that's something probably.
それについては忘れてくれ。
人の記憶は曖昧で、時間が経てば経つほど主観が入り混じるし、物語が付与されていく。その内容がポジティブかネガティブかに関係なく、印象的な言葉しか思い出さないことも多い。それに引きずられて、前後の会話の記憶はねじ曲げられていく。
Huh? What was she talking about?
それが悪いことだと言ってるわけじゃない。人の記憶というのはそういうものなんだから。でもアマデウスは人じゃない。まだ研究段階の不完全な AI よ。これは教授たちにとって大きな壁の一つなんだけど、実は人の持つ曖昧さをアマデウスはまだ完全には再現できていない。
あ
忘れるという脳の高度な機能、それを完璧には模倣できてないってこと。
でも ATF でのレスキネン教授の講演だと、アマデウスは不必要なことは忘れてしまうって。
He sure did say that.
ええ、確かに忘れるわ。けど言ったでしょ、私たちはまるで秘密の日記のようにログを取ってるって。結局その中には全ての情報が残ってしまってるわけ。そしてそれをロードしてくれば忘却したはずのデータは私の記憶に戻ってきてしまう。 OK？
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting. So even if she chooses, or I guess lets herself forget, it'll still be there if she ever needs to remember something. In other words, asking her to forget was a waste of time?
代替案はログを消すことだけど、私にとってログはバックアップだから絶対無理。仮に一箇所だけ消去しても同じ。前後の文脈を参照して、その不自然に消去された箇所を自動的に修復してしまう。
Oh, she's too smart!
それでも、なんとか記憶を改ざんしたいというのなら、大元のプログラムそのものをいじるしかない。
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how the program worked at all. So basically, until I told Karisu why I called her Christina, she was going to keep asking. What a pain.
ね、どうしてクリスティーナ？
What it's called. I was looking for a line. Like, what do you mean it's not there? Rhine. Damn it. You're right. My friends and I used it in college and it was so nice. Man.
そんなにクリスティーナの件が気になるなら推論でも立ててみたらどうだ？
I can't believe if Discord continues to blow up, we have to go back to line. That's crazy.
一応いくつかの可能性は考えてはみた。聞いて。
She's really into this.
可能性その1。あんたはクリスティーナ・なんちゃらという名前のハリウッド女優が好きである。
Interesting theory.
自分がハリウッド女優並みの美貌の持ち主だとでも？
見た目は関係ない。同じ名前の人に親近感を持つのと似たような意味よ。
つまりこう言いたいわけか。私は岡部倫太郎から親近感を持たれている。
単なる例え話でしょ。言葉通りに受け止めないで。
冗談だよ。
Whenever I talked to Karisu, I always wanted to tease her. I needed to watch out.
可能性その2。あんたが昔付き合っていた彼女が外国人でクリスティーナっていう名前だった。
Almost. Kinda.
に
Ish.
ついてはあんたの絶望的な英語力を聞く限り絶対にないわね。
もしかしたら日本語ペラペラの金髪ブロンド美女と付き合っていたかもしれないだろう。
もしかしたの？沈黙は敗北を認めることと同意よ。
すいません。
Bro's getting roasted.
可能性その3。オリジナルの私と面識があって直接あるいは間接的にそう呼んでいた。
Also, I love how this all kind of started because he's like, so we can't delete these memories or whatever of me saying embarrassing things, and now here he is saying even more embarrassing things. He really did just learn that today, or rather remember that, I guess. Bro's just adding to the fodder that they're gonna have to look through now and be like, you good?
これも確率低いでしょうね。そんな風に呼ばれたら私ならこう答える。ティーナってつけるな。
Yeah, that was exactly right. That's exactly what Karisu said. But I didn't stop because
照れくさかったんだ。
the genius named Karisu Makise was the person I always wanted to be.
どういうこと？
素直に名前を呼べないから照れ隠しであえて茶化した言い方をした。
照れくさい？
ああ、オリジナルだけじゃなくてお前と話すのもだ。
私？
何しろモニターの中にいる女の子と話すなんて一度もない経験だったから。
それはどうも。
なんで赤くなってるんだ？
赤くなんてなってないし。ただ女の子扱いされるなんて思ってもみなかったからちょっとびっくりしただけで。
Even that reaction was just like Karisu.
俺はお前のそういうところが好き。
Bro! He's losing it! I mean, he's not, I get it. Our poor depressed son. I shuddered. What was I about to say? This was a 3D model on a screen. A tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her?
ねえ、聞いてもいい？私たち知り合いだったのよね。つまりあんたとオリジナルの私がっていう意味だけど。答えたくないならそれでいいけど、どういう関係だったの？少し興味ある。
The most complicated question anyone could ask.
クリスティーナって呼ばれても私は怒らなかった。怒ったけれどそれでも笑っているした。
In the most ominous background music.
死にたくないよ。
I like how that just sounded like a bomb went off and they're showing us Kurisu dead again. Me too, man, me too. I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Kurisu in front of me, covered in blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold. Oh god. At this point, for their relationship, he only thinks of her as he was her killer. Man!
あんたが私を殺したのよ。どうしたの？ねえ、顔が真っ青。
I touched the smartphone and ended the call. And then I became too dizzy to stand. Sunbathing cats, please help. Please help this man. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out. My hands were shaking. That's right. I can't change reality. But there I was, trying to talk to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I was treating her like the real Kurisu, and trying to avert my eyes from what I'd done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This was wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. The call was from Kurisu. Of course I'm gonna answer. Are you crazy?
なんだ
Bro said I shouldn't talk to Kurisu, but I'm in charge. Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry.
なんだじゃない。急に切るなんて失礼。どうかしたの？
Everything's wrong.
なんでもない
We're in the bad timeline.
でもひどい顔色してるじゃない。
本当になんでもない
The fact that he can look paler is
放っておいてくれ
crazy.
しばらく連絡してこないでくれると助かる
Angry Kurisu.
あまり無理せずに誰か知り合いに連絡しなさいよ。
Oh.
それじゃ。
Kurisu gave up easier than I expected. But freaking looking out for him always, bro. Even the AI version. That's crazy. Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence, there was nothing she could do. Realized? I was making her sound like a real person. And the second that thought crossed my mind, I almost saw an image of a bloody hand, I gritted my teeth and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calm down a little. Can I do that? Oh. I was fine just a moment ago. But now, even hearing Karisu's voice was enough to send me into a panic. I'd gone back to how I was half a year ago. I saved just a minute ago, so, I mean, that's close enough. Back then, even hearing Karisu's name was enough to make me dizzy. So listen. Oh. The phone went silent. That's crazy! Turning my phone off in Steins Gate? That's wild! Oh my god! I slowly stood up. That's gotta be like against the law! If Lukaku saw me like this, he'd worry. I should get out of here. I was staggering a little, but I could walk. Bro, it's so bad! It's so dire right now! I felt very thirsty. Yeah? I was probably so dehydrated right now. Oh my god, he drank mineral water instead of Dr. P? Oh, it's really dire! Oh my god! This is worse! Oh, Jesus! Oh my god. Pray for my boy Okabe. He may not make it. This is a sign if I've ever seen one. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I forgot. So much happened. I forgot about the meeting. Holy shit. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. Dude, he's gonna have to go to the meeting and be like... They're gonna be like, hey, so why'd you do that? Oh, Jesus. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache, too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved. I wonder if Japan is really ever in the Christmas spirit. I have watched Saint Youngman. I believe. What a show.
Konnichiwa.
It's the girl that definitely isn't, experiencing that one illness. The brain COVID. The evil, extra evil dementia. Sure, that's fine. It's the girl with the long hair. True. Her too. They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I don't know their real names. Joke's on you, Kaede is her real name. Because she's old, like me, and couldn't come up with anything. Fubuki, however, is that one, the short one. Shorter. Actually, I don't know. Short hair, we'll go with that. If I made them worry here and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I'd run into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone toward Kanda when I left the
オ
shrine.
カリンさんっていつもなんだか辛そうに見えます。
That's because he is. But thank you for really calling that out, girl with the short haircut.
そうか。
そうだよ。吹雪ちゃん、
She ain't wrong. She ain't
そん
wrong.
なオカリンさんを見てるマユシーも辛そうで。
Fubuki, maybe we gotta stop letting you speak.
私もオカリンさんとマユシーのこと見てると泣きそうになって。
I'm in pain, bro.
私何言ってんだろう。
What are you saying? This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. Good! I'm glad! But, like, I'm in pain. I felt a little better after hearing that.
オカリンさんの好きな人って誰ですか？
The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of— Oh! This is not the time to be asking him that! The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. No. Calm down.
オカリンさん、ごめんなさい。失礼なこと聞いちゃって。私。
God, Fubuki's trying her best, and it's not the time. It's really... She's not winning today, bro. Excuse me? I'm sorry, what? Huh? Ah! The sky was red-black, dotted with columns of thick black smoke. There was so much rubble I couldn't find a place to stand. Screams, gunshots, and the stench. Everyone in this world knew what this smell was. It was the smell of burning. Houses, buildings, cars, motorcycles, trees, grass, and humans. It was the smell of all of them burning together. Something thin and black poked from between piles of rubble. It was a hand. A hand, unmoving, stretched up towards the sky. No, that wasn't the only one. Everywhere I looked, I saw hands, legs, and heads. Parts of what were once human beings were strewn across the ground. I heard a distant gunshot. A shout. Silence. Nothing changed. Just one more body lying on the ground. The world was ending. And at last, people understood. This wasn't the afterlife. This was the real world. Hell. Yes, that's what this was. This was hell. Ain't no way. A stray sheep? What just happened? The world twisted and warped. I'm sorry? Are we reading Steiner right now? My phone's off! Dude, I was so scared, I thought I just got an ending by accident. Which, I was like, that's gotta be impossible, because I'm in, like, chapter 1. What? I felt horribly dizzy. Sometimes my vision would blur for no reason. But this was nothing like that. It was like my mind itself was being wrung apart. Like the world itself was changing. Deja vu. I knew this feeling. This was... At last, the color came back to my vision. All the shouts of the pedestrians and the noise of the passing cars came flooding in at once.
オカリンさん、大丈夫ですか？汗すごいですけど。
What the hell just happened?
気分でも悪いんですか？
Oh, hey, Aya! Girl! I'm scared! But they're my Yuri's friends.
いや
Oh, dear. Kabuki and Kaede. The two of them were still in front of me. They looked worried. The hell just happened? Had I just gotten dizzy for a moment?
本当に大丈夫だよ。心配してくれてありがとう。
それじゃあ私たち行きますね。今度のパーティー楽しみにしてます。
I'm still not used to seeing characters from behind. Which is like such a weird thing to say, but I'm just not. It's really funny. They said their goodbyes and walked towards the station. I watched them go, only halfway paying attention. What was that? Yeah, why were we in hell? Just, you know, asking for a friend. None of the passerbys noticed me standing there. What do you mean by that? They were all experiencing time sequentially, as one connected moment after another. But I knew what I just saw. That's right. I was the one person who understood. That feeling was reading Steiner. Which meant that the world line had changed. Phone's back on. I shook my head and tried to get the idea out of my mind. But they continued the conversation as if nothing had happened. Did not mean to quick save, but sure. Oh, I know, I'm sorry. I will, hopefully I'll have the VOD ready for after the stream, which I know doesn't help currently, but, have you played any of this game at all? Or are you blind like me? It was impossible. The world line can only change if someone had altered the past. I didn't play this one, I only watched it, so blind. Oh, you watched the show for it. Pog. Okay, well... basically... what happened yesterday? We had a lot of Daru content. Where Suzuha was like trying to get him to freaking smarten up and all that. And we now for sure know who her mom is. It's not correct. She is Yuki Amane, who we also met, who is part of this friend group with my Yuri. And those two girls that were just on screen, they're all cosplay friends. But Lord knows, somehow Yuki likes Daru We're not sure how yet, but yeah, that is supposed to be Suzuha's mom. And Suzuha doesn't really want to see her yet because, like, she has unfortunately met her, so the lie that they're going with is that Suzuha is Daru's younger sister. But she doesn't want to be around her too much because she's afraid that, you know, something bad will happen if she's, you know, like they won't actually get together and then Suzuha will go poof, like some horrible timey-wimey thing will explode. So basically, Yuki comes over to hang out with Mayuri, because she's gonna teach Mayuri how to cook, and then she meets Daru first because he's at the lab, of course, and they kind of have a awkward conversation. Suzuha, who is also at the lab, hides in the other room, and while this was happening, Mayuri runs into Okabe, who doesn't come to the lab much anymore, and is she's absolutely cringing. But Mayuri convinces Okabe to also come to the lab, which, without her knowing, Okabe had already been thinking about it because Kurisu, the Amadeus Kurisu, wanted to see the lab because it had come up a conversation. So he has been avoiding Suzuha because, you know, the mission, and he hasn't wanted to talk about it, so they are not talking. And basically, he goes up with Mayuri, and then Kurisu calls as soon as he's there, but he doesn't want anybody to phone Kurisu, so he rushes into the back to kind of like show her the room, but that's where Suzuha is hiding, and that scares the shit out of him, but thankfully she doesn't realize who he's on the phone with, and he puts the phone away and everything, and Yuki sees her and all that, and they have a little bit of a conversation, but Okabe kind of says that he's, you know, not ready to try again because he's gone through so much and seen what time travel and messing with that does to other people's lives. Then, you know, lots of depression stuff happens there. And then we see a child! Which I want to see more of today, but we see Mayuri's daughter, in the future, who I guess went back in time to 1975, with Suzuha in the time machine, Kagari. And then Suzuha lost her! And yeah, I would like to really know about that more, personally. But yeah, I guess Suzuha went to, in the current time period where we are, she went to check on the time machine, which Ferris has hidden, kind of, by buying off a building. And they talk, and while they're talking, someone is watching them, but that person gets away before Suzuha can catch them, so yeah, something weird is happening there. And, yeah, now we were just having, you know, a time with, Kurisu getting really close to figuring out what her relationship with Okabe might have actually been, and then he had a freak out, and then we turned off our phone as we were, like, puking almost, and, after that, we were walking, we ran into those girls, and something weird happened. Like, we got reading Steiner, so, Mayuri's kid was an orphan that she adopted in this future timeline. So, uncertain. She looks like a baby Kurisu. But that could be anything, because that's probably too obvious. But yeah, oh, yeah, also, there's a weird brain disease that's making other people have, like, weird dementia shit and see other, people's memories. Surely that will not be a problem. That's probably what this is! Oh my god! I mean, maybe. I don't know. Hold on, I forgot about that for a second there. I did, but I didn't. And yeah, that's what you missed on Glee. That's like the short of it. I've only ever seen world line changes after I'd sent D-mails with the phone wave, name subject to change. But I destroyed the phone waves, so that could never happen again. Could that be what that was? Because the girl with the short hair, Fubuki, she's been having nightmares of seeing Mayuri die. Like what has happened in the other timelines. So I am like 100% sure that she has the weird COVID dementia. But they said that it takes a long time to spread. But then again, we did just see the weird numbers on the screen, so I don't freaking know. But yeah, the phone wave isn't a thing. Unless someone else has something now? I'd sacrifice Kurisu for it. But then, who did this and how? What if someone had made a device identical to the phone wave? Thanks. Thanks for that. Mayuri. I need to see if Mayuri is safe. I'll call her right now. Okay, that seems like a place to save if I've ever seen one. If I was Mayuri, where would I be? I picked her name off the contacts list on my phone and dialed. I could hear the call sound in my ear. But there was no sign of her picking up. God, it's like me calling my mom. She never answers. 7 seconds, 8, 9. Each second made the fear worse. I felt cold sweat drip down my back. 12 seconds, 13 seconds, 14 seconds. Bro, we're going to voicemail. I kept calling and praying anyway. Eventually, after a minute of ringing, the electronic sound suddenly cut off. I can't tell if that's real or if they have really intelligent voicemail.
マユリマユリか本当にマユリなんだな
Oh shit, it's real! Okay, first
ど
one!
うしたのそんなに慌てて。
I was scared. First one of the day, let's go. We're locked in. What phone rings for a minute? I don't know. 2010, I don't know. The relaxed, easygoing voice I heard most definitely belonged to Mayuri.
心配したぞずっと鳴らしているのに出なかったから
Oh, she's down below, Radicon. I was so worried. I kept calling you, and you didn't pick up.
ああ、ごめんね。電話、カバンの中に入れてたから。
Not at all. Nothing had happened at all.
もしかして、何か急な用事だった？
いや気にしなくていい少し不安になっただけだ
不安？
今どこだ誰かと一緒か
これからバイトだよ。
何時まで
8時過ぎぐらいまで。
そうかわかった
おかりん、遊びに来てくれるの？
いや今日は用事があってな無理なんだ
も顔を出すつもりだよ。
わかった。もし行けるようだったら、そこで合流して一緒に帰ろ
ほんと？今日は珍しいね。
う。じゃあ、バイト頑張れよ。
I hung up. Mayuri was safe, which meant that the world line change probably had nothing to do with her. Not that I could let my guard down. Or maybe that was just a daydream, and there was no world line change at all. Dude, I was so dumbfounded, I was not paying attention to the numbers. I should have paid attention to the numbers. It seemed awfully realistic for that to be the case, though. I would never ignore 8 calls. That's all him. That's crazy. Leskinen seemed overjoyed by Maho's words.
私は期待しているんだよ。彼女が君に対して友情を、もっと言えば恋愛感情を持ってくれないかとね。
Oh.
恋愛感情？
そんな声を上げることもないだろ
でも、その AI ですよ。
う。AI だからだよ。
Okay. What did he mean?
彼女にだって感情はあっただろう。
だけど、それはあくまでもプログラム上のことで。
This is so evil, dude.
でもそれは人間の脳だって同じことじゃないか。
He was right. The brain ran on electrical signals, so you could say it had the same structure. Alright, fair.
今は機械に感情があるかないか
I
なん
had
て
to
いう
think about
問
that.
題はもはや時代遅れだよ。機械にだって感情はある。第一、エメデウスは私たち人間の脳を再現すべく作っているんだ。構造が同じでプロセスが同じなら、その結果生み出されるものも同じなはずだろう。ならば彼女だって恋をする可能性は十分にある。いや、ぜひしてもらいたいと思っている。
Amadeus. Falling in love?
おっと、こんなことを言っては魔法に恨まれてしまうかな。
教授までクリスみたいなことを言わないでください。
冗談だよ、冗談。魔法は怒ると怖いから気をつけた方がいい。
それはもう分かってます。
ちょっと聞こえてますよ。
おお、そういえば私はジュリーに連絡をしなければならないんだった。リタロ、少し失礼するよ。
The professor quickly left the room. He ran away, didn't he?
まったく。クリスといい教授といい。どうして何でもかんでもすぐに色恋沙汰に結びつけたがるのかしら。
まったくだな。
Of course, that was always the type of girl she was.
あ、そうだ。岡部さん、ちょっと聞きたいんだけど、あの子がクリスが好きな言葉って何か知ってる？
言葉？
数字でも何でもいいの。何かこうキーになりそうなものに心当たりないかしら。
Key?
クリスが設定したパスワードを破ろうとでも？
よくわかったわね。
I was right?
それって
Was she trying to
あい
hack?
つの研究室の PC か何かの？
ううん、彼女の私物。家にあったノート PC よ。
そんなものどうして君が？
形見分けでね、譲ってもらったの。クリスのお母さんに。
That's still a little weird.
それで中身を確かめたいからパスを解除する方法を探しているの。あなたなら知ってるんじゃないかと思って。
パスがかかってるということは見られると困るものなんじゃないのか？
That is how passwords work usually, yes.
それはそうだけど、でも 彼女アマデウスのクリスをより本物に近づけるためにはその中のデータも解析した方がいいでしょ。もちろん私自身はなるべくプライバシーに関わることは見ないようにするつもりよ。
I knew what she was trying to say. She might have had some kind of diary on her computer, which described what she'd been doing during her time here. But
悪いけど心当たりはない。
何も。
ああ、それに知っていたとしてもやっぱり俺は教えないと思う。
I know, like, I would think that hacking her personal laptop would be a violation, but I guess for the good of the science. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see Kurisu appreciating that.
人には知られたくないことがあるから。
特に PC の中身なんていうのは今やプライバシーの塊みたいなものだからな。
Dara talked about that all the time. He was always wondering if there was a way to automatically wipe a computer's hard drive if you died in an accident. Of course, what Dara didn't want anyone to see was probably very different than what was on Kurisu's computer. Beyond that, it was the same idea.
そう。
She seemed really interested in the contents of the hard drive, but she didn't say anything else.
それじゃあ俺はこれで。
I was a little worried about my Yuri, too. I got up and went to leave. Except I have a message! Hey, Ocarine, what's the best color for a school swimsuit? The hell are you talking about, bruh? Well, I'm playing this H game, and it's just popped up as a choice. I was wondering what color you'd pick. Honestly, I would have rather asked Mayushi or Lukashi or Ferristan. They'd call the cops on your ass! Yeah. So I had no choice but to ask you. So what color? Don't get embarrassed, just tell me. Ask Suzuha. Not a chance. That's crazy. That's diabolical. She'd slit my throat. As she should. Man. Case in point right there, bro. That's crazy timing. I got up and went to leave. And then I saw a small ornament that was decorating the door.
そういえばもうすぐクリスマスか。
I remembered how excited my Yuri was.
ヒアジョーさんはクリスマスもこっちにいるのか？
ええ、こっちでまだやることもあるから。
誰かと過ごしたりは？
え？
ああ、いや、ほら、海外のクリスマスっていうと友達みんなで楽しくパーティーでもするってイメージだろ。
Oh, you're on the road again? Where are you guys off to today?
残念だけど、そういう予定はないわ。それに、アメリカやヨーロッパじゃクリスマスにパーティーなんてやらないものよ。
I don't know if that's true.
そうなのか？
彼らにとってクリスマスは神聖な日でしょ。だから家族と一緒に過ごすのが普通よ。
Oh,
その
fair.
分、大晦日は大騒ぎするけれどね。
Ooh, Costco time. I want samples. Dinner date also sounds fun. God, I haven't been to a Costco in forever. Did you want a third wheel? I mean, maybe for the samples. And a Costco hot dog. Perhaps. I thought I'd heard something about that on the TV or somewhere.
まあ、こっちには家族もいないから、どっちにしても一人ということに変わりはないんだけどね。あ、だからって寂しいと思ってるわけじゃないわよ。誤解しないでね。
Or so she said, but being all alone on Christmas in a bustling town was probably pretty lonely. Of course, she'd probably get mad if I told her that, so I didn't. When I finished talking to the professor, I went to the lab. I'd confirmed on the phone that Mayuri was just fine, but I wanted to see her for myself. I could see from the outside that the lights in the lab were on. I ran up the stairs to get away from the cold and open the door.
Mayuri, いるか?
I felt a small impact on my chest when I opened the door. Eh? Oh. Okay. Hey.
いえ、僕の方こそごめんなさい。
Evidently, he was just about to leave. Lukaku looked up at me, apologetic. For some reason, he was blushing a little. Only Daru and Lukaku were in the room. There was no sign of Mayuri or Suzuha.
よかった。もう少し早く帰っていたら、岡部さんと入れ違いになっているところでした。
もしかして俺を待っていたのか？
はい。と言っても、別に大した用があったわけじゃないんです。差し入れを持ってきただけで。
Oh.
おまんじゅうもらったよ。
Everything's great till Daru speaks out loud. I swear by the end of the stream yesterday, his voice wasn't as annoying. Like something... He like mellowed out. But we're back. Daru had already eaten about half the box.
いただき物ですから。皆さんでどうぞ。
Daru looks less slobbish. How did that happen? Was it Suzuha? He has a collared shirt now. Because he was doing serious World War III voice. Yeah. But I swear, even when we came back to, like, where we are now, he was still... Wasn't he? Or was I delirious? Might have been delirious. God, I miss his normal voice.
そうか。ありがとう。つうか、ルカシ、時間大丈夫なん？
Lukaku looked up at the clock and started to fidget.
実はこの後、お家にお客さんが来ることになってるんです。
客？ルカ子のか？
いえ、父のお客さんです。なぜか僕にも同席してほしいと言われまして。父は普段同じ趣味を持った人を呼んで長い時間話し込んだりするんです。難しい話ばかりで僕にはよく理解できないので、普段はお茶を出すぐらいしかしないんですけど、どうして同席してほしいと言われたのか。
難しい話って宗教とかそっち系の話か？
Lukaku's family ran the Yanabayashi Shrine, one of the oldest in Akihabara.
そういうわけではないみたいなんですけど、この前のお客さんとは有明がどうとか晴海の頃はどうとか、そういうお話をしてました。
晴海、有明。
Weren't those places...
さすがルカシのパパ、恐ろしい子。
岡部さんや橋田さんはわかるんですか？
まあ、なんとなくはな。でも、その話はまた今度だ。客が来るなら早く帰った方がいい。
あ、それじゃあ僕はこれでまた来ますね。
He bowed deeply and disappeared out the door. I watched him go, then sat down on the sofa.
メイクインじゃね？今日は来てないよ。
Then I guess I'll have to wait a little. Or should I go get her?
そういえばオカリン、さっきの電話だけどさ、
あれ、なんだったん？
He was probably talking about the phone call I'd placed to him before I went to see the professor.
あれは気にしないでくれ。多分俺の勘違いだ。
そうなん？だったらいいけどさ。
I remembered the strange sensation I'd experienced. I'd wondered if it was a world line jump, but several hours had passed and nothing had changed. Actually, I wasn't even sure if I'd really experienced it anymore. Memories were like that. Especially for me. Yo, memories really do be like that.
それにしてもハルミとはさすがはルカシのパパ、ベテラン戦士っすな。
Daru is just Japanese Homer Simpson VA. Man! Andrew, stop it. It just makes it worse. As if I wasn't already upset with whatever voice he has chosen for this game. That's just... I can't even disagree. I can't even disagree!
戦士がどうしたって？
Suzuha got back before Mayuri did.
ルカ兄さんのお父さんって戦士なの？
How come he gets to be brother when I'm stuck being Uncle Ocarine?
そうだお。それも戦士の中の戦士、歴戦の強者と言っても過言じゃないのだぜ。
へえ、そうなんだ。でもルカ兄さんの家って確か神職だと聞いたけど。ああ、そうか。神職の人も昔は兵士だったって言うよね。
She convinced herself.
確かにルカ兄さんはすごかったし、納得だ。
Amazing. That was amazing. I decided to just pretend I'd never heard that. Damn, bro. It still felt awkward looking at Suzuha. I'd avoided coming to the lab, mostly to avoid seeing her.
オカリンおじさん、そんな顔しないでよ。
Evidently, she could read my thoughts just from the look on my face. She seemed upset.
私のことを避けてるのは分かってるからさ。
お前が悪いわけじゃないんだけどな。
つうかスズハ、今日もこんな時間まで何してたん？はっ、もしかしてどこかの男とデートとか？いけません。そんなどこの誰とも知らない男とのお付き合いなんてお父さんは許しませんよ。
違うよ、そんなんじゃない。
本当に？
I thought it was a joke, but evidently he was serious about it. His tone was far less joking than usual. Must be hard being a dad.
本当だって。
だったら父さんの目を見て言いなさい。
父さんがそれ言う？
どういう意味なんそれ？
母さんというものがありながらいっつもそこで変なゲームばかりやってるじゃないか。
Get his ass.
それは2次元と3次元はあくまで別物ですし。
お前2次元も3次元も関係ないって前に言ってなかったか？
オカリン、そういうことここで言う？裏切るなんてひどいよ。
I'd never been on Daru's side when it came to his hobbies, though.
ご本。とにかくそういうことなら今日は何をしていたのか父さんに言いなさい。
何って？
Were you looking for the child you lost?
やましいことがないなら言えるはずだよ。
Suzuha glanced at me, then sighed in resignation.
人を探していたんだ。
Good, yeah, look for the child you lost. Who I low-key still wonder if that was who was spying on them, but that, I don't know. Could be. Who knows?
人
Or she's the one that has the freaking time machine, probably.
違うって言ってるじゃないか。
Or whatever caused whatever happened to Ocarine, maybe.
小さな女の子。今はもう
Yeah, I was gonna say, Suzuha, you lost her in the 70s. She is not a little girl anymore. That was a strange way to put it. I glanced over at Daru, who looked back at me. Oh, yeah, there was someone who was spying on Suzuha and, what's her face? Cat girl. My brain is just saying Nan. Which is not Ferris, yes, thank you. Someone was spying on those two. But whoever it was, ran away before Suzuha could catch him.
実はさ、私が乗ってきたタイムマシンにはもう一人
Oh, we're straight up just telling everybody now, okay.
なんだって
You waited this long? Holy shit, bro.
すずはそんなん初耳なんだけど
Yeah?
今まで話して
That's what I'm saying, Daru. She was looking down at her feet, and I could see she regretted bringing it up.
その同乗者は何者だ今どうしてるんだ
どうしているかはわからない。
わからないって。
はぐれちゃったんだよね。1998年に
We got separated.
秋葉原で。
Oh, interesting. They made it to 1998. 1998. That would have been 12 years ago. Okay, interesting. So it wasn't just Suzuha who came from the future. It took some time for the meaning of that to sink in.
でもなんでそんなことになったん
私とその子は IBN5100 を探すためにはじめ1975年に飛んだ。理由はおじさんならわかるよね。
I nodded silently.
なんとか無事に IBN5100 を手に入れた私たちは今度は1998年に飛んだ。2000年問題を回避するミッションのためにね。
They were avoiding Y2K? A problem where old computers would supposedly have errors after the year 2000. Almost all old computers stored only the last 2 digits of the year in order to save memory. For this reason, when 1999 became 2000, the computer's data would change from 99 to 00. Since the programs were never equipped to handle this, it was thought that computers would treat the year as 1900 and malfunction. While an error with the home user's computer would not be a severe issue, malfunction in a medical, financial, or military computer could cause disaster. For this reason, all these programs across the world were rewritten by hand starting in the 1990s. The process was successful, and January 1st, 2000 came and went without a serious incident. I forgot it was DeLorean mail. When did that pop up? This is not the spot to leave, but we're here. Catch you later. Godspeed. Enjoy Costco and date night. Eventually there will be a VOD. I swear. They just take a really long time to upload.
2000年問題
That was one of the big events at the end of the last century, along with Nostradamus' prophecy. But in the end, after all the fuss made by the media and the pundits, nothing really happened. Was that because John Titor had come from the future to fix it? If that was the case, then wow.
その1998年にトラブルが起きてその子とはぐれちゃったんだ。
それではぐれたままタイムマシンで跳躍したのか
仕方なかったんだ。あの子は自分からタイムマシンを飛び出してしまったし、
Oh. She must have remembered something because she swallowed her words with a bitter expression.
もちろん私だって探した。燃料の残量が許す限り何度も細かいタイムトラベルを繰り返してあの子の姿を探し回った。でも
In the end, she'd never managed to find her.
大体の事情は分かったけどさ、どうして今までそんな大事なことを黙ってたん？
あの子を見失ったのは私の落ち度だ。ちゃんと自分で責任を取りたかったんだ。
水臭いな。
Daru's words were soft.
僕たち親子だろ。困った時は頼ってくれてもいいのだぜ。
To be fair, Daru could probably do like a really thorough search of the internet to track her down.
父さん、
その子を探せばいいんだろ。だったら僕らも手伝う。な、オカリン。
なって俺もか。
当たり前だろ。別に未来を変えてくれっつってるわけじゃないんだし、それくらいやってくれてもいいっしょ。
まあ。
To be honest, after refusing all of her requests to save the world, I was feeling a little guilty. I'd like to help her if I could, but I wanted to know what she'd do after she found her.
で、その子の名前と年齢は？ちなみに可愛い女の子だよね。男とか言ったら父さん許さないぞ。
女だよ。
オッケー。名前と3サイズもよろう。
Bruh. Net slang that means okay. Thank you, game.
3サイズなんて知らないよ。だって別れた時のあの子は10歳だったんだから。
幼女か。
じゃあ
I
今
gotta kill this guy.
22歳になってるはずだな。
Right? The okay definition. It's like, thank you for that. That was very necessary. The most needed one of all time.
名前 please!
Daru! You already know who your wife is! Calm down!
名前はカガリ。シーナ・カガリって言うんだ。
And this is where it gets complicated.
シーナ。
The name was an unusual one. A girl who was part of Daru's group in the future, who had the name Sheena.
すずは、まさかその子って。
うん。彼女の母親の名前はシーナ・マユリ。カガリはマユ姉さんの子供なんだ。
Mayuri's daughter? Of course, it was possible that Mayuri would choose to have a child in the future. Where's Okabe right now? I know. For this game, a slight shock. But yeah, we're the boy. But the fact that I'd never even thought about it made the shock that much worse. If she had a daughter, she must have had a partner. He doesn't know about the orphanage! And that partner couldn't be me. Because I died in 2025. RIP. Wait a second. If she was 10 in 2036, then she would have been born in 2026! I'd have to learn more, but if I died in 2025, wasn't it just possible, maybe barely, that it could be me? Oh no! That just couldn't be! Just like Suzuha had appeared before Daru, she was going to appear before me? Oh my god, bro. He's gonna have a stroke when he sees her hair! Holy shit. Who was the dad? I couldn't ask.
あれ？ちょい待ち。シーナってことは、名字はそのままってことだよね。ってことは。
Oh?
カガリは繊細孤児だよ。身寄りがなかった彼女を まゆ姉さんが引き取って育てたんだ。
ああ、なんかそれ、まゆしらしいかも。
It really does. Bless her. I realized that I was relieved in more ways than one, and I hated myself a little for it. Ocarine jealous? Ocarine relieved! Even if she did marry someone else in the future, as long as that made her happy, it was for the best.
私はまゆ姉さんからかがりを頼むって言われたんだ。だからこんなことになっちゃいけなかった。
I fear that Ocarine is in love with Karisu. He loves Mayuri, but like, that's I feel more a sibling relationship.
あの子はいつだってまゆ姉さんにべったりだったし、この時代には知り合いなんているはずもないから、きっとずっと心細い思いをしてるはずなんだ。
Like that's his best friend.
その子はどうしてはぐれてしまったんだ？さっきトラブルと言ったが。
Yeah, what happened? If she'd come to a new era in the time machine at 10 years old, Suzuha would have been the only person she could rely on. There was no way she'd leave Suzuha and run off on her own.
私にもわからない。ただ過去に飛んでからのかがりは精神的にかなり不安定だった。
She's 22. Interesting. Understandable for that to happen. Considering she basically just left her entire family and went to the past. That's valid for a 10-year-old. That'd be valid for anybody. That made sense, come to think of it. A young girl just 10 years old was suddenly taken to a world where she knew no one. Of course she'd be scared.
その子の写真か何かはある？
Yeah, and Suzuha is not the, or at least this Suzuha, I should say, is not, not great with her emotions, I feel. Or sharing them. Like, I feel like this one, I don't even know if that's like the best way of explaining it. More of like, I feel like this Suzuha is very like, war! We gotta stick to the mission! Whereas this young child definitely would have needed like a lot of empathy. Like we know Suzuha is good with kids from seeing her in the other world lines, but yeah, war never changes. This Suzuha did not get to have that, unfortunately. Oh shit. Why is this the picture? She showed me a tattered picture with two girls in it. One was an adult woman, I couldn't see her face, but maybe it was Mayuri, 20 years from now. Hiding behind her was another girl. Was that Kagari Shina?
この子が22歳に成長してるわけか。いまいち想像がつかないな。
That is, if she was still alive. Even if Japan was a safe, peaceful country, it would be hard for a young girl to get by on her own. If she was lucky, someone might take her in and give her to an orphanage, but if she wasn't, Suzuha was probably well aware of that possibility, so I didn't bring it up.
ねえオカリン、協力してくれよ。
マユリの養女なんだろう。だったら見つけてやりたいさ。でも鈴葉はいいのか？俺が手伝っても。
I felt sure that Suzuha was disgusted with me. I had a chance to save the world, and I had given up. Would she want help from a person like that?
おじさんさえ良ければ人手は大いに越したことはないと思うから。
そうか。だったら手を貸すよ。
Of course, I didn't think this would make up for that.
ありがとう。
マユシーの幼女がどうしたの？
Oh shit! I forgot she was coming! Everyone turned around at the sudden voice.
てってれー。
Well,
おかり。
it's her second
本
one.
当に待っててくれたんだね。
Oh dear. Ayuri.
どうしたの？
Well, I guess hopefully we'll just be open about it this time. The moment I saw her, I finally relaxed.
よかった。マユリ。
I took her small hand in mine and felt the warmth. She was alive.
おかりん？
すまない。
別に嫌じゃないから大丈夫。
マユ姉さん、いつからいたの？
Long enough.
今来たばっかりだよ。
I was careless. I was so focused on what Suzuha was saying that I didn't see Mayuri come into the room.
ねえねえ、マユシーの幼女がなんとかって聞こえたけど、何の話をしてたのかな？
それはその
Crap. Mayuri knew that Suzuha was from the future, but telling her about her future daughter would be going too far. I needed to change the subject.
マユリはまだまだ幼い。つまり幼女だと言っていたんだよ。な。
What?
あ、そうそう。マユシは幼女かわいい。
童顔だってよく言われるんだ。
Oh my god.
みたいに大人っぽくなりたいんだけどね。
食べる量だけは立派に大人かもしれないな。
えへへ。
That wasn't a compliment, Mayuri. That was enough to distract her, evidently.
そうだ。食べ物といえば、オカリンはクリスマスに何か食べたいものある？
I like seeing her. I'm not used to it, but she's so cute without her little hat. I mean, I love her little hats, but like, it feels weird not having her in a hat.
クリスマス？パーティーのことか。別に何でもいいぞ。食べられるものならな。
クリスマスパーティーか。
すずさんは初めて？
私たちの時代はパーティーなんてやってる余裕なかったからね。でも一度だけ父さんがどこからか美味しいチキンを調達してきてくれたことがあったっけ。それをマユ姉さんが調理するって言って父さんが止めて。
Suzuha was looking at Mayuri as if she was remembering the past. Or the future, as the case might be. But Mayuri never got better at cooking, oh dear.
いつもよりほんの少しだけごちそうってだけだったけど、それでも嬉しかったな。
In the future, when World War III was going on, there probably wasn't much time for celebration. But even then, Mayuri was still Mayuri, trying her best to make everyone happy.
ダルくんは何か欲しいものある？
僕は可愛い女の子がサンタコスしてくれればそれだけでお腹いっぱいだお。
料理はどれくらいいるかな？ユキさんと一緒に用意する予定なんだけどね。そうだ、ルカ君やフェリシちゃんにも手伝ってもらおうかな。
Mayuri's head was full of thoughts about the Christmas party, it seemed.
れは別に。
I feel like we could invite Maho. I thought we were going to when we were talking about it. I almost said no, but then I remembered someone. Maho Hiajo. She said Christmas is something you always spend with your family, but...
おかり？
いや、特には。
How is she going to spend her Christmas? It was after I walked Mayuri home. The second I was alone, I started to think about this afternoon. If that really was a world line change, then what was the cause? The most likely possibility was that someone had succeeded in developing something like the phone wave. We were able to make one. There was no reason someone else couldn't. Another possibility was that... No, there was no use in thinking about it. I was just mistaken. And even if the world line did change, we weren't the cause. We didn't have anything to do with it anymore. Whenever I was alone, I always ended up thinking about the things that wouldn't do me any good. Damn! Me too! Screams? I took the phone out of my pocket and tapped the icon.
Hello.
Risu's expression was as self-satisfied as ever.
こんな時間にどうかした？
いや、なんとなく話がしたくなって。迷惑だったか？
別に迷惑ってことはないわ。あんたと話すことは私のためにもなるんだし。
She was an AI after all. She wouldn't be bothered no matter the hour.
先輩とは会ってきたのよね。
ああ。
何の話をしたの？
何って、お前とのやりとりについて報告をしただけだが。
それだけ？どこかへ誘ったりは？
まだそんなこと言ってるのか？ヒアジョーさんに言ってみろ。また怒られるぞ。
だってようやく先輩にも運が向いてきたかもしれないんだもの。せっかくのチャンスを掴んでもらいたいでしょ。
Risu seemed insistent on getting me and Maho together. Sheesh. Doesn't she have other things to talk about? Things to think about. Would she have anything to say about that other matter?
なあ、ちょっと相談なんだが、消息不明になった人を探すにはどうすればいい？
The logs, brother! This is gonna be in the logs! You seem to have forgotten about again.
随分と唐突ね。
Surely this will not be an issue.
身近でそんな話があったんだよ。でも、自分たちじゃどうすればいいのかわからなくてな。
詳しく教えて。
Oh my god, is Kurisu gonna find her? She leaned forward, suddenly interested. She really was a curious girl.
それが、
言えないことなの？
俺だけの問題じゃないからな。
それで相談に乗ってくれって言われても無理がある。
だよな。一般論でいいんだ。意見を聞かせてくれるだけで。
そうね。一番いいのは警察に行くことね。
That was the obvious and correct answer.
あとは更新所に頼むとか、過去の新聞記事を当たるとか。あ、でもそういうことはもうやってるか。
His private investigator in that font. A company that investigates corporations or individuals, most commonly used to do background checks on prospective marriage partners or clients, or to see if a spouse is cheating.
どうかな。
Or did it just look like that because it was a longer word? Maybe I'm losing it.
どうかなって。
We knew.
まさかそんなこともやらずに探そうとしてるの？
I never had it.
俺も今日聞かされたばかりなんだ。後で確認してみる。
But Kagari was from the future. And Suzuha didn't have any personal documents in this era either. Which meant that it was unlikely she'd gone to anybody in the government.
アメリカなんかではダウジング屋通して人探しをやるなんて人もいるよな。
Dowsing?
まさかあんな何の科学的根拠もないものを信じるとでも？
いや、言ってみただけだ。
よかった。もしそうだとでも言ったら二度と話なんかしないところだったわ。
She really was just like Kurisu.
ありがとう。参考になったよ。
見つかることを祈ってるわ。
なあ、それと。
何？
いや、なんでもない。
何よ。気になるでしょ。
本当になんでもないんだ。それじゃあ、今日はこれで。
What are you thinking, buddy? I want to know. Why was I just about to say that? I was just about to tell her about my Yuri's Christmas party, to see if she wanted to go. Oh. Kurisu was just an AI. She only existed inside of a computer. I guess I was just starting to see her as real.
どう？父さ
Oh
ん。
dear.
何か手がかりはあった？
Oh dear, oh dear.
いや、残念ながらこっちは何にも。
そう。
The search for my Yuri's future daughter, Kagari Shino, was taking longer than expected.
一つ聞くが、警察には行ったのか？
うん。一応言ったんだけどね。でも、捜索願いなんかは出してない。
I was right. In order to submit a missing persons report, you needed to have an ID to prove who you were. That's why Suzuha hadn't done it. And also, I later learned that the only people who could submit a search request were people like family and significant others who were close to the missing person.
僕の方でも昨日軽く警察のデータベースにハッキングをかけてみたんだけど、それっぽい情報は出てこんかったよ。
だろうな。
つうことは、オカリンも見てみたん？
ダルのように内部情報を見たわけじゃないがな。
There was a database of missing persons on the police homepage, but it didn't go back very far, and it didn't have a lot of information. All it has was age, sex, clothes, and sometimes possessions they were carrying. Since we knew nothing about Kagari Shina, we had basically nothing to go on.
でもさ、一見平和に思えるこの世界でも、身元不明者や行方不明者ってたくさんいるんだね。
Yeah. I thought the same thing. Each year, over 100 unidentified bodies were found in Tokyo alone. If you expanded that to cover all of Japan, then went back 12 years, you'd have a pretty big number. And the number of missing persons was far greater. Each year, almost 100,000 people went missing. And 1 out of every 5 was in their teens. Of course, most of them just ran away from home, and 70% were found within a week after a report was filed. But if 70% of them were found in the first week, that meant that 30% of them weren't. In fact, 5% of them were never found at all, and no one ever knew if they were alive or dead. Perhaps Kagari Shino was caught up in an accident, or killed, or perhaps... I sat up, then got off the sofa.
ん？オカリン、どっか行くん？
もうちょっと調べてみようと思ってな。
School would be on break soon. Anyway, it wasn't like I had anything to do. And while I hadn't been very interested at first, at some point I'd become really interested in the whereabouts of Kagari Shina. And more than anything,
ありがとうオカリンおじさん。
別にこれくらい大したことじゃない。
ううんそれでもありがとう。
as long as I was looking for Kagari, Suzuha probably wasn't going to bother me about the future. Having her bring up the same thing every time we met was hard for me. If I could get her to focus on something else, that would make things easier. Or so I'd thought, but finding clues wasn't easy. Just in case, I'd gone to the National Diet Library and looked at articles on missing persons and crimes in 1998, the year she'd gotten separated from Suzuha, but I had no luck. Japan's only national library. It consists of the main building in Tokyo and Kansai branch in Kyoto, and several other branches throughout the country. The main building on 1st Avenue in Nagata, Chiodi Ward, is often called the Diet Library. All works published in Japan are kept here, and while normal citizens are allowed to view them, they do not allow books to be checked out. Oh. Interesting. That's weird. Suzuha said she had been looking for Kagari every few years on her way to our time, so I knew it wouldn't be so easy. But I couldn't help but feel a little tired and disappointed.
どうかした？
あ、
何？
いや、
Did he call her without realizing this time? Oh no. He sure did. Oh, he's in so deep.
ねえ、昨日よりさらに疲れてるみたいだけど、大丈夫？
I mean, it makes sense. Because whenever he has a problem, she's who he goes to.
そう見えるか。
声のトーンがいつもより低い。結膜に多少の充血も見られる。もしかして昨日言ってた件を調べてたの？
まあな。
He misses his almost girlfriend so much. That's what I'm saying, bro. But talking to your AI girlfriend, your AI almost girlfriend it's not. I mean, they outright said at the beginning, and even the doctor was like, perhaps this is cruel. It sure is. And I think as time goes on, it's gonna continue to get even worse. I told Karisu what I'd heard from Suzuha and Daru, and what I'd found at the National Diet Library.
バカね。そんなことなら私に言ってくれれば簡単にことは済んだのに。
どういうことだ？
Like... I don't even want to call it a coping mechanism. Because it's like, it's not completely, but it sure is. It's kind of being used as that. It ain't good. Nothing good is happening.
私ならネットワークに接続してオンライン上の情報をリサーチすることができるでしょ？
I can't blame him. You know, I get it, but it's worrying.
そうか。
I'd forgotten. She was an AI that existed inside a computer, so something like that would be easy for her. That's what I'm saying. There are good and bad coping mechanisms. This one is probably very bad. Yeah? Yeah? Because, you know, I mean, not that we want him to move on, Because obviously he needs to get to a place where he realizes how to save her. But I suppose in a weird way, this is like... He does need acceptance, yes. And I feel like right now he is accepting this as like a new reality, which could very be dangerous. He does need to forgive himself, that too. As impossible as that would seem. Both of those things. My poor boy, Okabe. I love him. He needs so much help.
なんなら少しやってみましょうか。
And a nap. Definitely another nap. Naps would be good too.
すぐにできるのか？
But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if he is gonna like, I don't know if you can say he's gonna fall in love with the AI Kurisu, or if it's just like the old love coming back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I assume it's just kind of the feelings that he didn't fully get to act on. They're just kind of... I think it's yes. Yeah! Yeah! It's probably both. It's a bit of both. Both, yeah. It's rough. I too could use a nap, though. I'm with you, CD. Naps for everybody! It just... It's like, on the one hand, I root for them, but on the other hand, I'm like, I cannot, because I know it's a disaster. I'm more rooting for them to get us back to the true ending. Oh, you're off to bed then. Very valid, Marlon. I hope you have a good sleep. I appreciate you hanging out.
それほど時間はかからない。
それじゃあ頼む。
Mm-hmm. Yes, rest well indeed.
わかった。少しだけ待ってて。
Me tonight, I hope. I stayed up a little too late playing FF7 last night. Which I almost wasn't even gonna play, but I like did the thing where I realized that an entire week went by and I don't think I played games at all. And I was like sitting downstairs after stream and after I like ate my supper and everything, and I was like, I'm so tired. I should watch TV. But then I was like, maybe I could do something. Oh my god. Dude, I wish I could get the VOD exactly at that time. YouTube is just weird because it's like when I'm uploading the VODs, first of all, I have to like upload it a couple times just to be sure that one actually makes it through, because sometimes they'll corrupt. So I gotta make sure one of them gets there and is good. And then I have to wait, because it'll upload, but the like low quality version will be ready. And I'm like, no one wants to watch that. Or at least I don't think anyone wants to watch that. I wouldn't want to watch that. For some reason, it'll let you put that one up first, and I'm like, well, I would rather wait for, you know, the HD one where you can choose your options. And it's just, yeah, it's annoying. So I have to like keep an eye on them. Excuses, I know! It would just be easier if they didn't corrupt, though. Because if they didn't corrupt, I could just get one ready and just let it go whenever it's fully uploaded. But it's the corrupting that's the real problem. I don't know why it does that. But to be fair, I could check after stream and see if maybe Twitch... I don't actually know if Twitch muted my VOD yesterday. If that's the case, I could see if maybe I could put them on my Twitch again. Obviously, they'll still go to YouTube as well, but I'll take a look. Oh, it would be so much nice if I could just do that. But copyright, it'll get you. Risu fell silent on the screen. It didn't move for a moment. Maybe 30 seconds later. Yeah, anyway. Good night, Marlon. I'll figure something out, probably.
もう結果が出たのか。
ネットワーク上で検索してみたけど、1998年以降、椎名かがりという名の女性が何らかの事件や事故に巻き込まれたという情報は得られなかった。同姓同名の人物は3名ほど検出。ただ、年齢を考慮すると、その人物があんたの探している人である可能性は限られ
Oh, was it? I figured. I just find that when things get muted on YouTube, it's like it's not as bad. Like it'll usually be the opening and then usually I feel like the rest of the VOD is fine. Knock on wood. Whereas Twitch will have a billion things. It'll be like the entire thing for no reason, and I'm like, why? Because yeah, I usually expect the opening to be muted. That's why I don't normally play it. God, I miss the days when you just didn't have to worry about that shit. Good times. Yeah, I don't know why it's more forgiving, but it definitely seems like it is. Which is a strange thing to say about YouTube, but I don't know. They'll be like, damn, you're not gonna be monetized, and I'm just like, I wasn't anyway. I wasn't expecting to be. I just wanted it there. Oh! Oh shit, Ferris! She gonna find out? I spun around when I heard a voice behind me.
やっぱりあかりんだにゃ。こんなところで何してるんだにゃ。
フェイリス、それに
こんにちは。
Oh, and
Okabe-san.
Luca, hello. What are you two doing together?
珍しい組み合わせだ
Yo,
な。
this is great. This like all three of them together on the screen. This is wild. Like, hello, people that I am with.
ついさっきそこで会ったのにゃ。そしたらルカニャンが荷物いっぱい持ってたからそこまで手伝ってあげることにしたのにゃ。
Hmm. Now I'm curious. I wonder if I should try leaving my computer on. Perhaps. I took a closer look and saw that Lukaku was holding bags in both hands. If you added in what Ferris was carrying, it was quite a lot. He was trying to carry this all alone? Lukaku?
ねえちょっと
今何か聞こえませんでしたか？
いや、これは別に何でも。
Damn. I quickly hid the smartphone behind my back.
ちょっと聞いてるのねえ
Oh my god, he didn't even get to turn the phone off. She's just down there.
また聞こえたにゃ。もしかしてさっきオカリンが話していたのはそれかに
いや、これは
It shouldn't matter if they found out. But I still felt guilty, so I closed the Amadeus app.
ゃ。電話中だったのにゃ。
Rip.
ああ、ちょっと知り合いに相談事をな。
相談ですか？
そういうことだったんだにゃ。後ろから見たらオカリンが一人でブツブツつぶやいているように見えたからちょっと心配したにゃ。
Did it look like she needed to worry about me? But, well, if she saw me talking to my smartphone in a place like this, I guess I could understand that.
でも水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるならフェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。
そうです。僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
ありがとう。でも大したことじゃ。
No, wait a second. Both Ferris and Lukaku had lived in Akihabara since they were born. And both of their families held important positions here. Yo, actually, yeah! Lock it, Okabe. Maybe asking them wouldn't be such a bad idea after all.
実は今人を探してるんだが。
人ですか？
I told them that I was looking for a girl who'd gone missing 12 years ago in Akihabara. Of course, I didn't tell them that she was from the future or that she was Mayuri's daughter.
その子がどうして行方をくらませたのか激しく疑問だにゃ。
すまないが、そのあたりの事情は話せないんだ。
にゃ
そういう話に心当たりはないかだけでも聞いてもらえれば助かるんだが。
ー。わかったにゃ。とりあえずフェイリスの方が黒木に聞いてみるにゃ。
Kuroki was her family butler. I'd met him several times. In the same way that Ferris naturally looked like a maid, Kuroki was just naturally looked like a butler. Come to think of it, it's rather strange for a maid to have a butler for a servant.
あとメイクインニャンニャンのご主人様たちにもそれとなく聞いてみるにゃ。
僕の方もお父さんとそれから氏子の方たちにも聞いてみます。
悪いな。そうしてくれると助かる。
Hell yeah. Both Kuroki and Lukaku's dad knew a lot of people, and they had a far better chance of finding someone than we did. I hope they could at least find some small clue.
それはそうと、ルカ子。その山ほどの荷物はどうしたんだ？
あ、 れは昨日お父さんのお客さんが来るっていうお話はしましたよね。実はそのお客さんの一人がしばらくうちに滞在することになって。
Interesting.
それで必要なものを買い揃えていたそうにゃ。
If they were a guest of Lukaku's father, they must be fairly old. And from what I'd heard yesterday, they probably had some unique hobbies.
それは大変だな。
That's rough!
いえ、僕もちょっと楽しいですし。
Fun? Lukaku shared the same blood as his dad, so perhaps he had some latent interest in these hobbies.
あんまりのめり込みすぎないようにするんだぞ。
I gave him that warning, then went to leave. Well, I tried to leave, but
よいしょ。しょ。
ルカニャン、大丈夫かにゃ？フラフラしてるにゃ。
大丈夫です。僕だってこれくらい。
うん。
よかったらお茶でも飲んでいってください。
いや、遠慮しておくよ。お客さんだっているんだろ？
そうですけど。
I couldn't bear to see him struggle like that, so I'd carried his bags to the shrine with him. Paris had gone back to her cafe.
それにしても、この荷物、いくらなんでも一人で運ぶには無理があるだろ
僕だって最近は少し力がついてきたんですよ。今日も岡部さんに言われた素振りだって。
Oh. Sword exercises. That was the training I'd given him when he told me he felt too much like a girl.
う。精神残魔流か。
A style of swordsmanship taught by Kiyoma Hoen de Luca Urashibara, the descendant of the ancient protectors of Akihabara. It also functions to strengthen the mind and quell the evil flames that lurk within Urushibara. Only the cursed blade Samidare can bring out its true power. One of its secret techniques is the Type 33 Cherry Blossom Rage. At least, that's what Okabe said when he made it up. Luca is just too pure like Mayuri sometimes. I know. It makes sense why they're such good friends, though. It was so stupid, I couldn't even laugh.
すみません。
Thinking back, I was amazed he put up with that nonsense.
ルカ、帰ったのかい？
I could hear his dad's voice from their home behind the shrine office.
はい、今行きます。
それじゃあ、俺はこれで。
はい、ありがとうございました、岡部さん。
Lukaku bowed deeply as I left Yanabayashi Shrine. Okabe has become so jaded and lacking whimsy. I know! Depression does that, bruh. God does it. On my way home, I thought about what the two of them had said.
でも水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるならフェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。
そうです。僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
I didn't realize until after they'd spoken. I had gone to Kurisu before I'd gone to anyone else. But you always did. I'd brought up the app and started talking with her before I even realized it. She wasn't the real Kurisu. But that voice, the way she acted. All of it reminded me of Kurisu. All of it brought back the emotions I'd tried to hide. Hello, phone call? To be fair, this one's probably safe. I didn't get a quick save. That was from Karisu. Hello, I can't. God, I can't answer it. I'm scared. She was probably there to complain about me hanging up on her earlier. That would be just like Karisu. Answer! That's crazy, bro. Yeah, because that's the quick save button now. Wild. But I didn't answer the phone. Pain. I didn't answer any of the other calls that came that day either. The United States of America? California? Huh?
まったく、なんで私がこんなリポートしなきゃいけないのよ。
The reporter, Jessica Edmond, had rushed to the scene at the director's orders, and she was pissed off about it. Nani? She dreamed of Hollywood and even been in a movie once. So how did she end up reporting on this crap?
何でもいいから仕事をよこせと言ったのはお前だろう。
Nothing good ever happens when we look up at the sky.
確かに言ったけど、
It's not safe.
こんな事件。
落ちぶれた生意気な女優崩れを使ってやろうってんだ。感謝されたって文句言われる筋合いなんじゃない。
なんですって？
それともここでも仕事をほっぽり出して逃げ出すか？何もかも中途半端で。そんなことだとガキの親権も取られちまうぞ。
Excuse me? She hated herself for not being able to say anything. Her stupid pride got in the way. She dreamed of being a Hollywood actress, but all she'd gotten was a small part in a B movie. They'd never gone anywhere after that. Then she had a kid and come back home. Still, she loved her kid. She wanted to make sure they were taken care of, no matter what she had to do.
それで、現場は？
その茂みの奥だ。
It better not be jelly. It better not be jelly. She went into the bushes and there she saw it. Several bodies, all brutally mutilated. Oh! Okay!
このように国内において行方不明になっている研究者は今年に入ってから5名。そのうちの3名についてはアーティフィシャルインテリジェンスの研究を行っていたとされており、その背後には人工知能技術の発展に反対する原理的宗教主義者たちによる活動も影響しているのではないかとみて、当局ではさらに捜査を続けている模様です。続きましては現場からのリポートです。ジェシカ？
こちら現場のジェシカ・エドモンドです。今朝早くこちらの現場で発見された遺体に関して当初人間のものと思われておりましたが、
They sure are not.
その後の警察の調べによりますと、それがチンパンジーやオランウータンといった複数の猿の死体であることが分かりました。ただしこれらの遺体について一部脳および頭部が欠損しているものもあるとのことで、警察では猟奇的事件として地域住民への警戒を訴えており、
Ooh, that's some Chaos Child bullshit right there. That's what that is. I didn't know we could do that here. Oh, well, sure. Okay.
なあ岡部、お前この後授業は？
Okay. Why not? Why not? Why not? My back hurts. I'm gonna stretch. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. Stretching may have been a mistake. It woke up the cat. She was, very happy that I was on the floor. But she might become a menace. Surely it'll be fine. I know! The second I was down there, she was right at my head. Although there is not... I wonder... Squeak wants playtime, as she always does. Although there is not as much room to stretch down there now that my AC is in the room. But I did my best. I don't like that my back is feeling funky, but it's fine. It's just like a little annoying. I will play a bit more.
いや、今日はもう終わりだよ。
そっか。じゃ、どっかで飯でも食ってく？
どうせまたカレーだろ？キッチン倒壊か？
Yeah, that woke you up, didn't it? Hi. Hello. No, I guess I didn't pet you while I was down there. You were just like rubbing your head against my head while I was stretching. Oh, this freaking cat, dude. Kitchen Tokai, a long-established Western-style restaurant in Jimbocho. It offers delicious food at a reasonable price. So at lunchtime it fills with salarymen and students. The curry is especially popular. I am petting the queen, don't worry. She hopped up on her tree and she's looking at me.
昨日ちょい臨時収入あったから、今日は豪勢にモンディーかな。
Mondi. Curry restaurant in Jimbocho. It's famous for its full-bodied European-style curry. But it's a little outside the price range of a college student. Comes with endless fries. That sounds great.
俺はやめておくよ。今月ちょっとピンチだし。
そっか。じゃ、また今度な。
あ。
I was talking with my friends after class. Have we seen him at school before? I blacked out because I was gone. I like didn't realize. Or well, no, I guess we did because technically, when he went to that, when he met Maho and everything, that was like a university thing. But I'm not used to him talking to other students. I'd really started to get used to this. Before the summer, I'd felt really out of place at school, but now it didn't seem so bad. Back then, I thought I was special, but now I knew better. As long as you make the effort to fit in, you can find a place to belong. People can change. No, they change whether they want to or not. It was too late now, but I'd learned something about myself. It really was too late.
さてと、それじゃあ帰って。ん？
Excuse me? What is he doing here? As I headed for the exit, I realized that I recognized one of the people passing through my field of vision. Also, what was with the dead chimpanzees? Can we go back to America real quick? Never thought I would ask that, but, hello? Sorry. I want to go back to that. That was... Yeah, what's he doing here? But also, what happened over there? What is going on? My college went out of its way to attract exchange students, so it wasn't unusual to see foreigners. We never want to go back to America. I know, but like... They got chimpanzees with their brains cut out. What's going on, you know? What's up with that? But still...
いない。
I hurried after him, but the person I just saw was already gone. Was I just mistaken? Come to think of it, the professor being here wouldn't be strange. He might have come to meet with my advisor, Isaki. How strange that he was in a lab coat instead of his weird Amish outfit. Izaki had
一度現れて小さな女の子を見なかったかと探し回っているそうなのにゃ。
Oh, maybe that's what it was, CD. You're probably right. But now I am really curious. I think I'll double check later. They definitely do. Like, I think when Maho introduces him, I think they mention it. He probably is just a freak American. Y'all are definitely right. My brain just looks at him and I'm like, you're European. I can smell it, but it's fine. Watching Monster just did something to my psyche. I see blonde and I'm like, it's an evil German man. Like in anime, they do that all the time. They really do. You're not wrong. It's either they're American or they're a rebel. But what do you mean by this? Twin tails. That was definitely Suzuha. Oh! Oh shit! Oh, that- oh! Interesting. That's funny. I held back a laugh as I tried to imagine it, and then headed for the radio building. My goal, of course, was to find information on Kagari. Can't believe they think Suzuha's a ghost. That's kind of awesome. Interesting. This was where she'd vanished. Which meant this was where I was most likely to find clues. This is gonna... I was gonna be like, that's gonna give him PTSD, I would think. Not like the correct floor, but similar. I went around to each store inside the radio building and asked, but didn't learn anything. Of course Suzuha would have done the same thing, so I didn't expect much. But that didn't mean I could just stop. The part shops... the commercial facilities, all the Oopas! Even the back alleys. Even after that, I went all around Akihabara asking people about Kagari. All of the screens from the freaking first game, bro. Dar said what I'd been thinking, but trying not to say.
手伝ってくれてありがとう。これ以上無理はしなくていい。捜索は私だけで続行するよ。
Suzuha evidently had no intention of giving up.
いや、ちょっと待って、鈴葉。僕が言いたいのはさ。
父さんたちに無理させるわけにもいかないから。かがりの件は私の責任なんだし。
Yeah, you were the one that lost a child.
バカ言うなよ。子供の責任は親の責任だろ、ジョコ。
You know, Daru, that's... Yeah, you're right. I hate when I agree with Daru. It's, weird every time. Duh. An expression used to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back at least 200 years. Daru stating the obvious? And yet many don't realize that. But yeah, it's, bro's cooking.
父さん
He's standing on business.
ね、今のどう？かなり
And it's
パパっ
over.
ぽかった
It's
と
so
思うん
over.
だけど、なんならパパ大好きって言って抱きついてくれてもいいのだぜ。
We had him for 1 second! Watching these two always gave me a strange feeling. For a while after they first met, they were complete strangers. And now they were father and child. And age-wise, they were exactly the same. Maybe I could understand how Suzuha was feeling, but I had no idea what Daru was going through. Yeah? Yeah, that's gotta be rough.
とにかく僕が言い
I'll
た
give
い
him
のは
that.
ただむやみやたらに探したところでダメだろってこと。
じゃあどうしろと言うんだ。
餅は餅屋って言うでしょ。こういうのはやっぱ専門家に頼むのが一番だと思うんだよね。
専門家？
こういうのはある程度裏の世界の情報にも精通してる人に頼むのが一番だろ上皇。
Oh. So he's bringing it up. I realized he'd come up with the same idea I had. My head hurt.
心当たりがある
I
の？
was thinking like a investigator or something.
ち、父さんを甘く見ないでほしいな。僕はオタだけど顔は広いのだぜ。
You know, I'm gonna let him see where it goes.
横幅も広いけどな。
Damn.
茶化すなっつーの。
っていうか本気で言ってるのか？本気で裏の世界の人間とやらにつながりがあると？
Yeah, does he actually have that? Is that a thing?
ちょっと連絡取ってみる。
Before Suzuha or I could respond, he took out his phone and started typing a message to someone. Was he serious? I think he is. Was text messaging the preferred way to get in touch with the criminal underworld? Probably.
どう思う？おじさん。
実際にそういう人物が本当にいるのなら頼んでみてもいいとは思うが。
In fairness, being a hacker was a pretty underworld sort of occupation too. If I knew someone like him, it was quite possible that the person he said he knew really existed.
よし、送信と。あとは返信が来れば。
That was fast.
お。
もう返事が来たの？
うん。今からそっちに向かいますって。
She?
随分と話が早い相手だな。
It's gonna be Moeka, isn't it?
遅いよりはいいんじゃね？
That was true. Daru was sending another message. He was probably telling her where we were. Now all we had to do was wait for her arrival. And then the phone rang! Me, every time the phone rings, I do in fact be saving the game, cause fear! Not Daru's phone. My phone. Was it Kurisu again? Oh, it's Lukaku! Hey, buddy!
もしもし、ルカ子か？
What up?
あ、岡部さん。すみません。今、大丈夫ですか？
Hell yeah.
おう、どうした？
実は、僕、岡部さんに相談したいことがあって。
相談？
今から お会いしてもらえないでしょうか。
今から電話じゃ言いにくいことなのか？
はい、少し。
Right now? Would it be okay to leave? Oh, would it be okay to leave this to Daru and Suzuha?
悪い。これから客
Hmm.
が来ることになっているんだ。
I was interested to see what kind of person Daru's friend was.
そうですか。
Sorry.
その後からじゃダメか？
その後は僕も用事があって。
F.
そうか。
それじゃあ。
Just as Lukaku was about to say something. I heard sharp footsteps coming up the stairs. Yeah, that's Moeka. And then a knock.
はい、どうぞ。
It's fast.
悪いルカ子。お客が来たようだ。後で連絡を。
And then I stopped. The person who opened the door, it was...
こいつまた
Now, buddy. Of course it's her. You should have known by the heels! It was Moeka Kiryu. I hadn't seen her since the ATF seminar.
岡部さん、どうしたんですか？岡部さん。
お茶どうぞ。
So, who are you now? Other than someone that stresses out Okabe! Moeka was silent, with her head tilted slightly forward. Seeing her caused a dull ache within me, like my heart was being squeezed dry.
どうして
Why was she here with Daru? I had any number of doubts in my mind.
どうしたん、オカリン。
いや。
Moeka tilted her head a bit to the side, and I quickly averted my eyes. There was no connection between CERN and us anymore. So she wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill her. I said it to myself over and over again, and finally started to relax.
おじさん、顔色悪いよ。大丈夫？
気にしないでくれ。それよりもダル、説明してくれ。
ああ、この人は桐生氏。ヘンプロのライターさんだよ。
Edit Pro. Editing production. Editing producers do special projects and editing work for a variety of publishing companies. Okay.
桐生萌香です。
She silently handed me her business card, which had the name of a company called Arc Rewrite on it. An editing production company located in Akihabara, it primarily does articles for computer magazines. Daru gave a brief explanation to me and Suzuha.
なあ、ダル。お前はどうしてこの人と知り合いに？
前にさ、桐生氏の担当してる雑誌で秋葉関係の都市伝説を扱った特集があったんだよね。
Interesting. Urban legend. Rumors whose source is unknown or unclear, usually dating from the 20th century or later. They can be divided into ghost stories, occult stories, and folklore. But lately the boundaries between these three categories have become vague. Urban legends range from short, silly stories to the terrifying and nightmarish, and all of them are told as if they really happened. Examples of urban legends include the Japanese story of Hanako-san, the stories about the Shadow People, or the story of Men in Black.
その時に僕のバイトのこと取材したいって申し出があってさ。
Wait.
僕のバイトってほら、あんま大きな声で言えないやつっしょ。だから取材に関しては丁重にお断りしたんだけど、ただ僕って普段から足がつかないようにかなり注意してるんだよね。なのに桐生氏はその僕にたどり着いた。それが気になって。
Yeah, that tracks.
で、会ってみたらこの通り、すげえ美人さんだったわけだ。
Bruh.
都市伝説を追う美人ライターとか燃えざるを得ないだろう、上皇。
And that's how they'd met. Suzuha was frowning. She saw how Daru acted around Moeka. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she was thinking that he'd be better off directing his attentions toward her mom. Moeka, for her part, seemed completely uninterested in Daru. She was wearing her usual poker face and fiddling with her phone. She's still using a Japanese feature phone instead of a smartphone, huh?
まあ専門ってわけじゃないけど、秋葉についてはかなり詳しいみたいだし、結構裏の方の事情も知ってるっぽいから頼んでみるのもありかなって。
人探し、そう聞いた。
うん、実はね、12年前に秋葉でいなくなった女の子を探してほしいんだお。
Daru told Moeka Kiryu the basic story. She was dead silent the whole time, but she typed his words into her phone with incredible speed. I said nothing and just watched. He was once around her. He probably still was. Is it okay to trust her? It was just a coincidence that I'd run into her here. I knew that in my head. My heart just refused to accept it. Here in the Beta World line, we'd never encountered Moeka Kiryu before. Of course we hadn't. I'd chosen the Beta World line so that we wouldn't. Even though the cost was Kurisu Makise's life.
つまりその椎名かがりという人を探せばいいの。
そういうこと。どうかな。
やってみてもいい。
マジ？
でも見つかるかはわからない。
もちろんその場合はしょうがないよ。
Normally, Moeka and I would never have run into each other like this. Of course, we might have crossed paths in Akihabara. We almost ran into each other when she'd come to interview Dr. Leskinen in Maho at the ATF seminar. But I'd convinced myself that we were never going to meet each other directly. Was this fate? Were she and I fated to cross paths at some point? If that was the case, maybe it was better to not try and avoid her, but to watch her to see what she did. As I listened to Daru talk to her, that was what I started to think.
じゃあ報酬は成功報酬で、その他の必要経費はこっちで持つってことで OK？
問題ない。
オカリンも鈴葉もそれでいい？
私は手伝ってもらえるなら文句はない。
俺も構わない。
じゃあ契約成立ってことで一つ。
Moeka nodded slightly, and then asked us for information about Kagari that might be a clue. Stuff like the clothes she was wearing when she disappeared, and what she looked like. After that, she left. All the tension suddenly drained from my body as I sank into the sofa.
おじさん、本当に大丈夫？
大丈夫だ。少し緊張しただけだから。
It was a little late, but I took some anxiety meds out of my pocket and swallowed them.
おじさん、さっきの桐生萌香って人のこと知ってたんだね。
え
She could tell? Bro, you weren't just like really obvious.
マジでオカリンいつの間に
どうしてそう思ったんだ？
見ていればわかるよ。
I guess you have to be pretty sharp to survive on the battlefield.
いや、知らない人だ。
アルファ世界線では知ってた？わかった。これ以上は聞かないけど、私なりに警戒はしておくよ。
Smart.
それでいい。今はな。
一体何のこと？
緊張したっていうことさ。
わかるわ。桐生氏は美人で巨乳でスタイル抜群でメガネ属性まで持ってるもんな。しょうがない。
そうだな。
If she was a part of my life now, I would just have to use her as best I could. Maybe it was because she was gone now, or maybe it was because of the anxiety meds, but I'd calmed down enough to start thinking that way. Of course, who knew if I'd feel the same way the next time I saw her, face to face. Ooh, Maho. Hey, girl. The Japanese office of the Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization in Wako City, Saitama. That's a mouthful. Maho Hiajo had tried her best to hold back a yawn, but in the end, she'd given up and opened her mouth so wide it covered well over half her face. Just reading that almost made— No, don't yawn. I was gonna be like, just reading that almost made me yawn. You can't just also yawn. I'm gonna start yawning. Don't do that. Oh my god. One reason was that she'd gotten caught up talking to Kurisu last night, and only ended the conversation after it was late into the night. At first, they'd been discussing the research and experiments she's been doing, but at some point, she'd gotten sidetracked into talking about Rentaro Okabe. Evidently, he'd been ignoring calls from Kurisu for the last few days. Kurisu was much madder at him than she was when he'd ignored her the first 8 times. It was the first sign of femininity that she'd ever seen from Kurisu Makise. It was cute enough that Maho couldn't help but take the chance to get back at her for all the teasing she always did. She ended up staying up a lot later than she'd intended. And since she was too energized to sleep by that point, she'd gotten out of Kurisu's old laptop. Or she'd gotten out her old laptop. He'd started to fiddle with it to see if there was some way to crack the password, and the next thing she knew, it was morning.
パスワードね。やっぱりプロにでも頼んだ方がいいのかしら。
何の話だい？
He suddenly heard a voice behind her and almost jumped out of her chair.
そんなに驚くことないじゃないか。
教授、戻ってたんですか？
Oh, he's in the lab coat this time too.
ついさっきね。
He raised up his hands and showed her some plastic bags from a nearby convenience store. He'd left to go get lunch just 10 minutes ago, and she'd been sure he wouldn't be back for a while.
それにしても日本のコンビニは食べ物の種類がいっぱいで本当に素晴らしいね。毎日違う弁当を食べても1週間もすればすぐに新しい弁当が出る。しかも店によっても味が違うから毎日コンビニでも飽きないよ。
コンビニのお弁当ばかり食べていると栄養偏りますよ。
それでもアメリカの食事に比べればかなりヘルシーだよ。
Yeah?
第一食事についてのお説教だけは魔法には言われたくないね。
He was right. Nutrition wasn't an important consideration for Maho. In fact, she ate mostly cereal and meal replacement shakes, which made her diet very unhealthy.
ところで何をプロに頼むって？
ああ、あれはなんでもないです。なんでも。
It wouldn't bother her if Leshkinen found out, but for some reason she suddenly decided not to tell him.
そうかい？私でできることなら力になるよ。
ありがとうございます。その時はお願いします。
He stood up and headed for the door.
魔法、どこへ行くんだい？
気分転換も兼ねて秋葉原に行こうかと。
気分転換で行くにしては随分遠いね。ウィンターローに会いに行くと素直に言えば許可しよ
う。そんなんじゃ。
違うのかい？
ついでに会いに行ってもいいですけど。
Okabe had a laboratory in Akihabara. Risu had told her that last night. She said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time. What is your problem? Lay down, you little freak. Stop yelling. She'd said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time and only recently started going there again. Maho was a little interested in it too.
言っときますけど違いますからね。そういうのじゃないですからね。
私はまだ何も言ってないよ。
というわけで、今日は研究は休みます。
ウィンターローによろしく。
First Kurisu, and now the professor. Why did they keep trying to make everything about romance?
っていうか、ああいうのもセクハラよね。今の世の中じゃ。
Wait, did you hear her? She was being real loud, bro. I think I was talking about it with someone recently. I swear, when we started calling her Squeak, she was quiet. She is not quiet anymore. You yell. You don't have an indoor voice. You do be yelling. For one thing, she wasn't going to Okabe's lab just to visit him. She wanted to see him again and see if she could get any hints about the password. He had said he didn't know, but he'd probably be able to come up with more than she could on her own. That was what she thought after seeing how he interacted with Amadeus. You could call it a woman's intuition. She was thinking about that when she changed trains and got off at Akihabara Station. She felt like someone was watching her and spun around. It was a weekday, but the station was crowded. She looked around at all the people, but none of them seemed to be paying her much attention.
気のせいよね。
Hopefully. She whispered to no one in particular as she started to walk again. Kurisu had told her the location of the future gadget lab. She wasn't that familiar with the layout of Akihabara, but if she needed to, she could ask her for directions. But what if she came in unannounced and Okabe wasn't there? That bothered her a little, but she decided she could just leave if that happened. Her eyes lingered on the junk parts lined up in the bins at the shops as she walked, when... She felt someone looking at her again. But when she turned around, she didn't see anyone. She started walking again, then went around a corner into an alley. and then she was sure of it. Footsteps. She could hear them behind her. Of course, that was nothing special. She would often be out walking at night and hear footsteps behind her. She'd speed up her pace, only to see an irritated man walk past her a moment later. But this time, for some reason, she was sure it wasn't that. She decided to try walking faster, and found the footsteps went faster too. When she went slower, so did they. Moeka? Whenever she saw a scene like this in a movie, she imagined that she'd just kick the guy in the face. Now that it was actually happening, she was too scared to turn around. She fumbled for her phone in her pocket. The idea of calling the police never occurred to her. The only thing she thought of was the name of the man she was trying to meet. She picked it out of her call history and pressed the button with trembling fingers. The footsteps overlapped with the sound of the ringing. The footsteps were almost on top of her. Just when she couldn't take it anymore, and was about to start running. She heard a voice coming from the other side of the phone. But she didn't get to say another word. By the time she realized that someone had grabbed her from behind, the phone had already slipped from her hands. Oh, so we're just full-on kidnapping. Okay. Cool. Good. That's not good. I asked Moeka Kiryu as I took the paper she offered me silently. She'd contacted Daru just 10 minutes ago and told him she was on her way to the lab. And she'd arrived right at the time she said she would. She must have been very close when she contacted him. What was she going to do if no one was here? Evidently, it was a report about her investigation thus far. The stack of papers was shaking a little in my hands. I still felt some unease when Moeka was in my presence. Maybe it was just because of the anxiety meds I'd taken right after she'd said she was coming, but I was still doing a lot better than yesterday. She must have been expecting something, at least a little. There was an obvious tone of disappointment in her voice. With no way to answer her, I just silently flipped through the pages of the report.
どうしたんオカリンなんか有力な手がかりでもあったん
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだが。
見せて。
I handed the report over to Suzuha without complaint. I pointed to the part that interested me with my finger.
調査の中で一つ興味深い事実が浮かび上がった。この 1,2 ヶ月の間で椎名かがりという名の女性を探している人物が私たち以外にも存在するらしいということ。
Of course.
どういうこと？
読んだままの通り。
Which meant... That must be the phone call. My phone started ringing before I could finish the thought. The caller was Maho Hiyajo. Hey girl! Normally I'd just ignore her and call back later, but...
悪い。ちょっといいか。
For some reason I had to answer. That's what it felt like.
もしもし。
岡部さん、私、ヒヤジョです。
She sounded on the verge of panic, and my voice naturally rose to match hers.
どうした、ヒヤジョさん。
今、あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
Immediately afterward, I heard what sounded like a struggle, and then something hitting something else.
ヒヤジョさん、ヒヤジョさん、どうした？
And then there was only silence.
オカリン何かあったん
From the tone of her voice, it was obvious something bad had happened.
知り合いが誰かに襲われてる。
マジ知り合いって誰
But I didn't stay to answer his question. I grabbed the nearest thing that I could serve as a weapon and ran out of the lab. Sec. I have more food. Please go back into your bed until I am done. She said she was close to the lab. If she was coming from the station and had chosen a route that not many people would go down, she was probably the alley directly in front of the lab. I saw someone there. They were tall and slender, and I could see a tiny silhouette struggling behind them. That was... I knew it. The only girl I knew that size was Maho. That's a terrible picture of her. Oh my god. Girl. That's crazy. And the croc? Wait, did she have one croc on? One sport mode croc adjacent thing? Oh girl. Someone had grabbed her and she was trying desperately to escape. I'm so sorry. One croc plus one flip-flop. That's crazy. And we have the lightsaber! Oh my god! The person who was holding her turned in surprised at my voice. It was only then I realized it was a woman, and that she wasn't Japanese.
Okabe-san?
おい、ヒヤジョさんを離せ。
Did she not understand me? No, but she should have been able to guess what I was getting at.
その子を離せ。
I tried to strike a threatening pose with the weapon in my hand. I finally realized that what I brought was the Sialum saber. Still, it would serve as a bluff.
もう一度言うぞ。その子を。
違うの、岡部さん。
It wasn't? It wasn't like what? Mom? The woman let go of Maho and smiled. She walked towards me with her arms wide open.
Are you Maho's boyfriend?
Oh! Hello! Before I could ask what was going on, she'd wrapped her hands around my back and given me a firm hug.
だから違うって言ってるのに。
Well then, I'm glad Maho is not in danger. Holy shit. I had no idea what the hell was going on, but the two soft objects pressed into my chest kept me from moving.
それじゃあ、この人はヒヤジョさんの知り合いなのか？
ごめんなさい。私が早とちりしたせいで。
I'm Judy. Judy Reyes.
Oh, you're Judy! Judy's real! Oh! The woman named Judy Reyes offered me her hand, her broad smile like the sun itself.
Nice to meet
I mean, obviously she was real. I didn't realize she was gonna be like a character real, you know? I don't know. Just that my Amish man is friends with her or has mentioned her before, saying that he was going to see her.
日本語でいいわよ。
え、 教授って日本語喋れたんですか？
I wonder if... Okay, professor, okay. I guess that's a colleague then.
ええ、実はね。
知らなかった。でもどうして？
女も私くらいの年になるといろいろあるのよ。
Her mischievous wink looked pretty good on her.
それじゃあ改めて。ジュディ・レイエスよ。よろしくね。
I really thought that was going to be Maho's mom. Just kidnapping her in broad daylight, but you know what this tracks to? I returned her handshake.
岡部倫太郎です。
レイエス教授は今度日本で開かれる AI 関係の学会に出席するために来日したんですって。
教授っていうことはビクトル・コンドリア大学の？
サイコフィシオロジーを研究してるわ。
サイコフィ
精神生理学のことよ。つまり脳の活動によってもたらされる心の働きとか心の病気なんかについての研究をされているの。
Ma'am, are you infected with the COVID dementia? No offense to you.
そういう意味では
Are you an incubator?
私たちの研究よりもずっと人の役に立つ研究をされていると言っていいかもし
You
れない、
have come from the foreign land. I must be wary.
そんなことないわ。あなたたちのアマデウスだってこれからの発展次第では十分に役に立つ技術になるわよ。
Ma'am, can you help me with my cortisol levels?
そう言っていただけると嬉しいです。
In short, Dr. Reyes had happened to see Maho on the streets of Akihabara and had decided to surprise her by grabbing her from behind. That's crazy, bro! That's funny.
でもレイエス教授も人が悪いですよ。
She was like,
つけてくるもん。
hey look, the small girl I know, I'm gonna follow her.
つける？魔法？
Oh no.
ええ。
Was there someone
後
else?
ろをつい
Don't
てきてま
say
したよ
don't
ね。
don't say that.
そんなことしてないわ。私はさっきそこのショップでたまたま魔法を見つけたからちょっと驚かそうと思っただけよ。
Oh. Of course. Kind of shit. Maho had only just relaxed when Dr. Reyes answered, drained her face of its color.
ヒアジョーさん、つけられていたのか？
ええ。確かにそう感じたんだけど。
レイエス教授、誰か怪しい人物を見かけたりは？
Dr. Reyes denied it with that unique shrug that foreigners always do. I looked back over the alley, but of course I didn't see anyone.
じゃあ私の勘違いだったのかしら。
Doubt.
きっとそうだわ。
Maybe better you think that for now.
日本は世界一治安のいい国でしょ。
Doubt! I never considered that shrugging isn't universal. It's funny the things you learn. Was it?
魔法はこの後どうするの？
私は
Reyes seemed to sense something in Maho's silence.
なるほど、そういうこと。それじゃあ私は行くわね。リンタロもそのうちゆっくり話しましょう。
Rintaro.
バイ。
Goodbye, tall lady. She gave me a meaningful wink as she left. The station was in the opposite direction. Could I have said something? She'll be fine. I got a strange sense that she was feeling me out, but it seemed like a waste of time to resist.
というわけで、彼女がヒアジョーさんだ。ほら、前にセミナーで会ったって話したことがあっただろ。
I feel like this is probably where I should stop today. Because I can sense that Molly is becoming evil. And the fact that she is over on that side instead of where she should be. So Plus, it's probably for the best, considering my back is feeling a little funky. It's feeling a bit better after I stretched, but... At least she's okay. I think that's a good place to end. We'll, you know, it could have been worse. I could have ended at the phone call, so... That would have been... Dude, that would have been so traumatic. I would have spent like a week being like, damn, she's freaking dead, and then get back and she's immediately fine. That would have been kind of funny, actually. I should have did that. You would have screamed. I mean, rightfully so, but like, goddamn, it would have been really funny. But yeah, I should. She seems cranky, so I should take that as a sign and go get myself some supper and get myself a break from this chair. Oh. But yeah, we made it. We did 2 streams this weekend, so we call that a win. But yeah, as far as I know, everything should be fine for next week. But, you know, if anything changes, I'll yell in Discord as I do. And, yeah. For now, I shall head out. And, hopefully I will have tales of my silly adventure to my dentist appointment, and I'll just come back and I'll cry about how much I enjoyed Taco Bell, and by Saturday I'll be really missing it. But yeah. Take it easy, and I will catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging.